coming back, starting us off. He's pulling double duty tonight. It's his first time on stage, and he's our sound tech for the evening. Please welcome, on his debut again, Brandon Morgan.
All right, sounding okay? All right, good. All right, now, if I've learned anything from television, it's that your teenage years are primarily important because you're gaining enough autonomy from your caregivers that you can go out and really fuck up, you know, make all those great mistakes that you learn all sorts of wonderful life experience from. Unfortunately, I'm not sure any of that happened after these events transpired. So, my buddy Brody and I, we were going to go camping. And we decided at the time that this required nothing less than a very large bag of pot. That's right, pot. Weed, the devil's own preferred garnish to a big slab of sin steak. Delicious. So anyway, Brody is one of those guys that seem to know everybody, which was good for us because when you know everybody, you know somebody who sells pot. So we found somebody who knew someone who bought pot, or sold pot rather, and we acquired it. This fellow's name, I don't really remember, but he seemed like a curly, so we'll go with that. So we must have spent over $100 on this bag of pot, which is quite a lot of money in broke-ass teenage dollars. Now, I don't remember who got the notion to go back to Brody's parents' house and smoke up in their backyard while they were gone for an indeterminate amount of time, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. So we're furtively smoking in his backyard when the sound of a car pulling into the driveway thunders through the night sky. Now, don't let my Adonis-like physique fool you. I'm not a world-class athlete. But when I saw those headlights pull into the garage, there was a puff of smoke, pun intended, the shape of a terrified stoner where I had been sitting milliseconds previously. So I bolt through the house, got Brody and Curly hot on my heels. We jump in Brody's car and we take off. We left the back door open, the front door open, all the lights on, and a rather confused dog. So we figured, okay, well, we didn't get caught in the act, so, you know, we can shore up those little details later. And here's where it really turned into a Three Stooges sketch. So you grabbed the pot, right? No, I thought you did. Well, I didn't grab it. So deep down in the hearts of our brains, a terror was sinking in. But the brain is a miraculous organ, and so the rationalization started immediately. Well, maybe they'd be so perplexed by our hasty exit that they wouldn't notice the large bag of pot sitting on the table in the middle of the backyard. So we troll around for a bit, and then we decide to do a little reconnaissance on the crime scene. And I'm sure at least one of us was entertaining the notion of some sort of covert ops where we'd jump over the fence and we'd grab the contraband and run back without being detected. But as we pull up to Brody's house, his mom comes out of the garage wearing a scowl and wielding a large flashlight, the beam of which she pointed directly into Brody's car. So of course he did what any rational human being would do, and he slammed that into reverse and peeled out backwards for about 50 yards around the corner. It was rather impressive. And that's when Curly decided that he would divest himself of our company. Which was okay, because he didn't really need to be there for the next phase of the operation anymore. So Brody and I, we go to a coffee shop, and that's where we begin crafting this tale of how we were naive yet complacent pawns in a diabolical scheme by Curly to smoke pot in Brody's parents' backyard. And then we slink back to his house in the dead of night, and I get in my car and I go home. And the next day I receive a hotly anticipated phone call from Brody's mother, upon which I dutifully regaled the story that we had come up with that no doubt she had heard from her son earlier that day. And she bought it. It was great. We were scolded for being stupid, but not for being monumentally stupid. She even let him go on the camping trip that we were planning on leaving for that day. So that afternoon, hop in Brody's car, and we scrape together some cash, buy another much smaller bag of pot, and drive off into the sunset. So I guess in the end it really was kind of like one of those little televised drama moral stories. And the lesson that we learned is that, be it ever so noble, the truth is rarely as expeditious as a well-crafted lie.